Hey everyone, okay, so, Malec. It happened. I'm not even joking. For several hours after I watched the show, I was still just reeling on my happiness. It was just such a good episode. It was so good. Okay, so before I continue on with my actual review, because my goodness, I have some things to say. I'm just gonna go ahead and start off with the sneak peeks for the finale. The finale! Can you believe that we're at the finale is next week? It has been 12 weeks of this. We're almost done with season 1. Like, this is crazy. Okay, so I know of 2 sneak peeks that have been released so far. So I'm gonna go ahead and put in my earphones because that was really annoying trying to edit it last week. So, okay, so like I said, there are 2 out so far. Stay in my ear, please. And the first one is Jace and Clary. So we're just gonna see what's happening with these 2 crazy kiddos. Alright, so Shadowhunters 113 sneak peek, Jace and Clary play. Weapons. Where y'all going? Suit up.
What are you doing?
Every second we waste here, Hodge gets closer to Valentine.
Well, hey, we're a team.
They know about Hodge.
I know you're mad right now, but Hodge could be dangerous.
2 of us. 1 of him. Check the math, but I'm pretty sure he's outnumbered.
What is with you? Would you just talk to me for a second?
Lydia. Hodge. All this is happening because I didn't stop Valentine.
Jace, you cannot let emotions cloud your judgment. Your words, remember? When I first wanted to find my mom, I didn't care about anyone else, but you were the one that taught me that it's about a world that's bigger than us.
That's why you need to wake her up. She was his prisoner. And his wife. If anyone can stop him, she can.
Jace, listen to me.
You can do this.
Okay, I have a slight theory. What if, okay, I just finished it. What if they wake up Jocelyn in the next episode? I mean, I know that would be like super here, but like, what if they wake her up next week? I had to put on my fan because it was getting kind of hot, so I'm sorry if you can hear that. But here is, okay, Shadowhunters 113 sneak peek, Alec and Magnus. Play.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how unpleasant was it?
Off the charts. Yeah, I've never seen them so angry.
Talking to your parents?
Just give them some time.
You're immortal. Time is on your side.
They both look so good.
After what
Like,
I
wow.
did, I don't think they'll ever forgive me.
Don't underestimate a parent's love. You don't regret it, do you?
Everything happened so fast. I didn't have time to think. I just want to make sure Lydia's okay. No, I owe her so much.
We owe her. What she did was nothing short of heroic. Hey, look, maybe we can slow things down. Why don't we start with that date you owe me?
Yeah, let's do that.
If they could show their first date, I would be so happy. Okay, well now that we have those sneak peeks out of the way, let me go ahead and start with my review. Okay, before I have like absolutely no theories for the next episode. I am so excited because like I don't know what to expect, and so like I'm just really excited. Okay, so to start off, the episode starts, and the first thing that I took note here is of the Alec and Clary moment, and I absolutely adored this part. I just really loved that moment between the 2 of them because they said thank you to each other, and it was kind of like a glimpse into like the relationship and the friendship that they're going to have like later on. Like all the book readers, we know that they eventually become like really good best friends towards the end. Spoiler alert, my bad. But yeah, it was just really nice, and it was a great way to like start off the episode, and it showed like Clary's sensitivity towards Alec because it was just really nice, and I really enjoyed that scene. Okay, then next up we have that scene that we got in a sneak peek last week. They released so many sneak peeks for this episode. It was crazy. And so, you know, the beginning we get what I don't think I reacted to it last week, but it's of what we got. And then after Magnus is talking to Alec, and Alec has a chance to like respond, he responds so flustered. He's just like, and I was just like, oh my god, Alec. And so not only is he just like all flustered, but like Magnus, this is the most serious that we've ever seen him. Like he's not trying to really be super flirty. He's trying to just get to Alec and to get in his head, and he's just like, listen. And he had a very serious face, and that's something that we hadn't really seen of Magnus. And it was funny because that part that we got in all the sneak peeks and everything is when Alec like touches his chest, and apparently that's because of Magnus. Like he did his magic, and Alec was like, why is my heart beating? And then the whole thing with Magnus like blowing on his neck and all of that, it was just very, very tension-filled scene, and I very much enjoyed it. And then Alec basically tells him like, you don't understand, and Magnus is like, you know what, well, I've already done all I can do basically, so the choice is up to you. I'm not gonna pretty much push you anymore. And so then we're left with the final scene at the wedding, and it just Okay, and so after that we're back at the Institute, and there's that moment with Clary and Magnus and Jason are sitting at that table because they're going to discuss the whole warlock thing, and it's already like super awkward between Jace and Clary, especially with Jace because he's just Jace, and Clary's just like, yeah, I'm working on, you know, good training, da 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 da, and it's just awkward. And then, okay, we've known about this for like a week or two already, and so I wasn't like super like when I saw it in the show, just because we've already seen the sneak peek, we've already seen all the pictures and stuff, but of Ragnar and Katarina and Tessa. Oh my god, I was so happy to see that. So Magnus, all his little comments about Ragnar and just all that, I'm like, oh, their friendship, I love it so much. And then Magnus is like, okay, well, you know, I'm, you know, out of here. So he gets up and he turns around to see Alec and Lydia, and I was like, whoop, awkward. And it was really funny because Lydia was like, oh, Magnus, it was like really good to see you. And so you could kind of see like the inner little bit of fangirl in her too, because remember the first time that we saw her, she was like, oh yeah, that I'm really excited to meet Magnus. So I feel like she kind of like, she obviously like admires him. So then right after that, we have that Clace moment, or not Clace, but just Clary and Jace now. And Clary's like, we need to talk about this, and Jace is like, there's nothing to talk about. Like, I feel really weird. And so he just does a very Jace thing, and he walks away. He doesn't want to talk about it. And so Clary's just like, well, okay then. And then, okay, we get to the Ragnar's cottage, and so Magnus and Clary and Jace are going to see Ragnar. I was laughing so hard. I was so entertained by Magnus's walk. He was just like, it was, I don't know why, it was just so funny. And then he brings up, he's like, oh, so brother and sister, huh? And so Jace and Clary start arguing, and he's like, I'm sorry I asked. I was trying to get away from my relationship problems, not dive into yours. And so I thought that was so funny. Okay, so they go through that green fire, and Clary is the only one to come out the other side, and so she's like, where are you guys? Then she sees the cottage, and she goes to the cottage, and I'm just like, that's a really cute cottage. Oh my goodness, I would love to spend a vacation there. That looked beautiful. She goes in there, and what's it called? She goes in there and she sees the painting. We see the painting right away of Ragnar. And I freaked out because I took an art history class when I was in high school, and I want to take another one now in college, but I don't know how I'm going to work that into my schedule. Anyways, but there's this painting that I've adored ever since I saw it, and I will post put it right here. And Ragnar was pretty much, because I noticed like the background, and I noticed a little thing on the desk where he was putting his hand, and it looked, I love the fact that they were doing it with that painting, because that's like my favorite painting. I don't know why, it just is. And so when I saw that, I kind of freaked out. So Ragnar's in the painting, and Clary figures out that it's actually Ragnar in the painting. So she grabs him, she's like, nice try, Ragnar. And she throws him out, and Ragnar, he gets up and he's like, with his pants, and he's like, very well, or whatever he said, with his accent and his demeanor, and it's just, he was so wonderful. I was actually really surprised by the lack of complaints that I saw for the fact that he wasn't green. I thought he looked great. I didn't really, I mean, I know that he's green in the books, like that's canon, that's his warlock thing, plus the horns, but I don't think it was that big of a deal, to honestly. He looked really great. I loved his style, his horns, his hair, just everything about him. The way he was walking, the way he was talking. I'm just like, oh my god, I love you. And it was so great. But, okay, because Ragnar's talking to Clary, and then she's like, oh, I'll do whatever you want if you can, you know, hair in my mouth, do this for me. And so then Ragnar's like talking to nobody, and I'm like, what are you doing? And so he like does his magic, and Jason Magnus appear. And it was just so nice seeing Magnus and Ragnar in the same room together. It was just, I'm like, oh. And it was so funny when Ragnar was like, oh yeah, that she offered me anything. Like, you only offered me something about your place in Paris. He's like, yawn. That was so funny. I love Ragnar. Oh my god. Okay, and then we get to, he died? What? I absolutely adored Ragnar in the books. He was like one of my favorite downworlders in the books, and I was so sad. I mean, okay, spoiler alert for like the last books, but Ragnar does eventually end up dying in the last book, and I knew it was gonna come, but I just wasn't expecting it now. I really wasn't expecting it now, and I was actually really sad about that, and I didn't really like that he died. I kind of cried. I kind of did. This is a like he's older than Magnus. I mean, he's not. I mean, I understand that demon kind of like caught him by surprise, and I'm really hoping he's not dead. I know. I mean, I'll talk about it in a minute when Magnus sees him again. But I mean, he's in the books a lot, and like they kind of use him in other parts of the book and the story. So I don't know what they're gonna do with that. And I just really liked Ragnar, and I was really sad to see him die. And and then Magnus, how he was all sad with his friend, and he's like, just let me grieve or let me mourn or whatever he said. And I'm just like, oh. Okay, so after that, we go back to the Institute, and Clary is talking to Lydia, and Lydia kind of just mentioned, she's like, yeah, the whole thing with Alec and his feelings for Magnus. She's like, yeah, I know. And Clary is just like, they have their whole conversation. Blah, blah, blah. And so next, we have the kind of Sizzy scene. It wasn't really Sizzy, but Izzy goes to the Hotel du Mort. I don't ever know what to just call that. And so Simon's trying on jackets, and I'm like, that's totally Raphael's jacket. And it turns out being his jacket because he says it later on at the wedding. But Izzy, she's like, what makes a bachelor party a bachelor party? And so they're talking, and I just thought I really liked their conversation. There wasn't any like tension or anything, but it was just nice seeing them in a room together by themselves. Okay, then we have that scene later on with Magnus and Ragnar when Magnus is back at his place. And that was like, besides the whole Malec thing, that was like my favorite part. I had so many favorite parts in this episode. The Jalek scene, the Magnus and Ragnar, the Malec, just so many good things. And so I'm on team denial over here, and I'm refusing to believe that Ragnar is dead. I mean, I know they said it, and like, even in death, they kept repeating, I'm like, no, you're not dead. And I loved it because you could really see their friendship in that scene. Like, the way Harry was looking at Ragnar, how he was talking to him, and I just like, when they were, it was so good. I love the relationship so much. It was so much fun reading it in the Bane Chronicles. And then they referenced the Bane Chronicles a couple times, like with that little, the little guitar looking thing. I don't know what they called it. I forgot. And then that man that Magnus was with, like in Peru, I believe it was. Oh my god, I don't remember. But he's like, oh, do you remember so-and-so? And I'm like, I remember that. And that was just so wonderful. Thank you to the writers for including that from the Bane Chronicles. Oh my god, I am in love with these writers. I love you guys so much. And then also I loved how they talked a little bit about Camille. Then they showed that picture that was really cool with Magnus and Ragnar and Camille. I honestly thought that was Tessa for like 2 seconds. And then he was like, oh, it's Camille. I'm like, oh, it was Camille. And she had her big old hat. If you remember, or not if you remember, in the History of the Notable Shadowhunters, that book, there's a page for Camille, and it says that when she was like in the olden days, that she made hats. So I thought that was kind of a nice touch. I don't know if that was on purpose, but that was kind of a nice touch. And despite how much I really hate Camille, I like that they talked about Magnus and her relationship, because I know that they're gonna have to like meet each other again later on. And so I'm excited for that, not because of like I want to see them together. I want to see that side of Magnus. And Ragnar, he's like, you're immortal, but she killed you. I'm like, wow, A+ writing, you guys. A+ writing. That was great. That hit me right in the feels. Okay, so then after that, and after Magnus, he was like gonna go to Alec again, and so we have this whole Jalek scene, Jason Alec, and Izzy, the whole bachelor party thing. So she takes Alec to talk to Jace, and so they hash it out finally, and I was just so happy with that scene. I was so happy because they're finally like close again. They've forgiven each other. I love them so much. And it was really funny because Alex, like, his little sass, his like head movements when Jace was talking, and then his little speech that he gave on later when they were sitting on the bench, and he's like, yeah, you think your life is gonna go this some way, and then like you meet someone and it takes you off that path. And I'm like, that's a very nice speech, Alec. And then he asked Jace to give him away, and I was just like, oh. And Jace is like, if this is what you really want, I would be honored. And I'm like, I love you guys so much. Okay. So after that, we are at the wedding scene, and we're towards the end of the episode. So this whole scene, we got it last week. We got like half of it last week in the sneak peek. And the venue, like, I know they were inside the Institute, but it was so pretty. And I know, like, I just watched the behind the scenes because I live for behind the scenes. Oh my goodness. And so like they literally made that set, which is amazing. Oh my goodness. I am so fascinated by all that stuff. I love like seeing how they make stuff and how they do everything. It's just, it's so fascinating to me. So yeah, the venue, the Institute was beautiful. I've always loved like weddings to take place in like architectural type places like that, not just like a room or even outside. I've always loved like the architecture within a room, and I don't know, I love it. And then the little Jalek moment with Jason Alec, he's like, no place I'd rather be, bro. And I'm just like, oh, my boys. Okay, so to continue on, I had to take a really big break right there because my phone was not cooperating. Oh, and do you see that? My new pillow. It's so beautiful. I ordered it online and it's like slightly blurry, but it's okay. But it's so beautiful. I don't know. I just thought I'd share because that'll be a way to that in my background from now on. Okay, so what was I talking about? Oh, the Jalek moment. And then after that, I have a note here. Oh, that everybody looks so good. Everybody looked so good because, like, I don't even know who looked my favorite. Like, Izzy, her dress was beautiful. Okay, so they're all wearing gold, right? Because of the wedding. So, put hair in my mouth again. Clary was wearing this really beautiful, like, blue gown. And then Maris was wearing this, like, metallic dress, which was, like, gorgeous. I loved all of their dresses so much. And then all the boys looking very dapper in their suits and whatnot. They all looked wonderful. Okay, so then the wedding commences, as says by brother Zechariah or Jeremiah. Well, I don't know why they didn't tell if it was Jeremiah or Zechariah. I wanted to know. Anyways, so the Ruel song starts, the War on Hearts. I think that's what it was called. Perfect song. Wow. They've been using all of Ruel's songs in this show, and they have been absolutely amazing. I'm still not over that first sequence in the pilot when, the monster song. I was about to sing it. And then we see Jason, Clary, and Alec. I'm still not over that opening sequence because that was amazing. And then when they all jumped, it's been months and I'm still not over it. Anyways, so the song goes, Izzy walks down the aisle, and then here comes Lydia. She looked gorgeous. Oh my goodness, she looked so beautiful. The gold, and then her hair was like very immaculate and wonderful, and she walks down the aisle by herself. She gets to the end of the aisle. She, with Alec, she puts the bracelet on, and then he puts the necklace on. Okay, and also a quick side note that I just wanted to make, the necklace that Alec put on Lydia completely looked, I graduated in 2014, and I never went to high school dances, but I went to prom, and I still have my earrings from that, and so her necklace completely reminded me of my earrings that I wore to prom. You can't even see them. Can you see them? That's yeah, what they look like. Imagine it right there. Yeah. So yeah, I thought that was funny. Anyways, moving on. And also, I was like, side note, that's like a really cool ceremony. I absolutely love that. It's like a rune on the hand or whatever, and a rune on the heart. Like, I already knew of this, but it's very cool. And then, okay, so Lydia is about to put the rune on Alec, and then Magnus walks in. I was like, boom, pa-chow, Magnus. And then Alec, he turns back to Lydia. He's like, I can't breathe. And she's like, it's okay. It's okay. Like, and he's like, you know what? This isn't what we should be doing. I made a mistake. I can't do this. And so I started to cry, no joke, when Lydia was like, you know, it's okay, I'll be fine, like, you deserve this, and she lets him go. And I love Lydia so much. I hope she stays around. That's why I got so scared later on when like Hodge attacked her. I got so scared. I'm like, you better not kill her off. Okay, so Alec, he turns to Magnus, and, or before that, Jace is like, oh, Izzy, did Alec invite him? She's like, no, I did, but I didn't think he'd show. And so then after that, fast forward to when Alec is like looking at everybody and looking straight at Magnus, and Jace is like, are you okay, buddy? And so Alec goes right towards him, and Maris, in her last attempt to stop whatever she thinks is happening, Alec, what are you doing? Enough. And I was just like, oh, so authoritative. And he goes right up to Magnus, grabs him, and he's the one who initiates the kiss. And what a kiss it was. Oh my god. It was such a nice kiss. I was so happy. I know all of you were happy. I was like crying. I'm like, of course I watched the episode, and then they put the scene online, so I just pressed replay about 50,000 times, and then all the gifs and all the it was so great. It was so nice. So like I said, Alec initiates him. He grabs him right here, and he basically pulls him in, and so like they start kissing, and then Alec pulls away a little bit, and Magnus like goes forward to try and like kiss him again, and then Alec goes in for more, and it's so great. It was so great. And then all of the reactions, the camera goes to all of the reactions. It goes to Izzy, it goes to Jace. Jace was my favorite reaction. He was just like, hey, that's my boy. Izzy just looked proud. Simon was like super excited. Clary just smiled. Maris was acting like Maris. Robert was like, what is happening? Hodge is like, whoa. I don't know if any of you noticed, but the second time I watched it, when the camera goes to Izzy, the Silent Brothers in the back, and he kind of just like does this. I thought that was funny. But yeah, Jason's reaction was my favorite. That was hilarious. It was such a nice kiss. It was so nice. It was a lot of that I didn't have any theories for the kiss because I just didn't want to have any expectations. This exceeded my expectations. It was absolutely wonderful. But I know a lot of people were like, oh yeah, that I bet they're gonna kiss in front of everybody, kind of like that scene in City of Glass where Magnus and Alec kiss in front of everybody in Idris, and then they go off to fight. So it was kind of like that here, and it's great because then they're out in the open, everything is just out there, and they can move forward, and I'm so happy. And it was just so nice because it was like a nice proper first kiss. It was like 15 seconds long. It was more than just like a peck. It was like a good hearty first kiss. Okay, so then we cut to commercial, and then we come back, and they're still kissing for like a second, then they break apart, and Alec or Magnus is like, oh, you still amaze me, or whatever he said, and Alec's like, what did I just do? And so then Izzy and Simon come up to them, and Izzy's like, I'm so proud of you, and then Alex his little smile, and Simon's like, you guys, that was amazing, and he like goes off, and it was just so Simon. And then we had like the shot of Simon and Izzy together, and I'm just like, my sissy heart, my sissy heart. And so we come back, and Lydia is talking to Jace, because they're the only two left up there. And so Lydia's like, well, I'm gonna go back to Idris now. There's nothing really left for me here. And he's like, you know, there's always gonna be something here for you. He's like, you're always welcome here. And I'm just like, oh. So then directly after that, Jace and Clary and for Malec, they go back to the inside the Institute to go and look at all that stuff that Magnus brought to do whatever. And I'm just like, look at my two favorite ships. Alright, so then they do the whole thing, and then we get that scene with Lydia, and she, you know, packing her things, her hair's still all did, and she has her suit on, and she goes to her office, or that office, to get, ooh, my dog's barking, to get the cup. And so she goes in there, and she gets knocked, she gets hit, and I'm like, what is happening? And it's Hodge. Like, they don't show him, but it's Hodge. It's Hodge, and I'm just screaming. I'm like, oh my god, please, please, please do not kill Lydia. Please, like, she just, please. And luckily, she just gets knocked down, and then she's reaching for the cup, and then Hodge grabs the cup, and I'm like, oh god, thank god that he didn't kill her. So I imagine Lydia's gonna, like, get up and start, she's gonna go and tell somebody, obviously, because in the sneak peek, Jace already knew about Hodge. And so oh my goodness, I hope Lydia stays around. God, I love her character so much. Then they cut to another scene before they finish off with Hodge, and it's the Clace moment, or Clary and Jace, it's weird to say Clace, and she's showing him the box, and he's like, is this all mine? And in the back of my head, I'm like, no! And I cannot wait until the truth comes out for them. Like, I want them to stop being awkward. But then we go to Luke and Jocelyn, and Luke is I can't wait for her to wake up, for Luke and Jocelyn to be together. Oh my god, I love them together too. Like those brief moments that we got of them. Oh, I love it. And so he's like, oh, I missed the wedding of the century, and I'm like, oh, Luke, I love him. I still cannot get over how much I love Isaiah as Luke. It's like blowing my mind. But Hodge comes, and he's like, you know, holding onto his, he's like rubbing his hand. I'm like, you? Ugh. And so he's like, Luke's like, you're right there, buddy? He's like, yeah. He's like, I'll look after Jocelyn. Like, go ahead and do whatever you want. And so Luke leaves, and Hodge does like a little thing on his ring, and Valentine appears. I'm like, is this Star Wars? What's happening? And so then Hodge is like, yeah, you know, take off this rune or whatever, and I'll give you the cup. And then that's the end of the episode. And then before that ended, I have another note here, that scene with Malec and then his parents. And they're all smiles, and Alec, we haven't seen him smile this much or this big at all this whole time. And he's just so happy, and I'm just so happy for him. I put on Tumblr, I'm just like, screw real life love for me. Like, Malec is all I need for my own happiness. And so then, Maris and Robert come, and Maris, you know, goes off on him, like, what did you do? Blah, blah, blah. You know what she did, you know what she said. And then Robert, I was actually really surprised, because in the book, wasn't Alec, like, more afraid of Robert's response because he was going to be more strict. But Robert was actually, he wasn't, like, necessarily, like, understanding, but he's like, well, the times are changing, and da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, hey, look at you. Alec already has Maris, his mother, like, not approving of this, so it's nice. It'd be nice for Robert to not be like that too, so Alec can have at least one parent on his side right now. Then the scene with Alec and Magnus, and Magnus is like, we still haven't gone on our first date. And Alec is like, yeah, he's like, you want to go for a drink sometime? And I'm just like, oh, the direct reference to the first time Magnus asked him out. And it was so wonderful. I love seeing them happy. I love it so much. They better show us their first date. Oh my goodness. They better. Like, I need it. But yeah, that was the end of that episode. It was my favorite so far. Like, not even a question. I have no idea. I have no theories for next week. I have a vague theory that Jocelyn might come back, might wake up. I don't even know. But yeah, I'm so excited for next week, the finale, and then we have to wait another year, and then we have season 2. I'm so excited. But yeah, I think that is all I have to say. But yeah, please leave all your comments down below. Let us discuss this. If you have any theories for next week, I would love to know, because I have none. But yes, thank you all so much for watching. It's been so awesome. And I will see you next week for my finale video. Bye!